Look, nobody's perfect in this business. Everybody makes mistakes. How can I get my ego out of the way, thinking that I could have done it better? I was dragging them along on the journey to success, kicking, screaming, and fighting me every freaking step of the way. It was exhausting for me. Like in the past couple weeks, started to really appreciate failure.
Guys, the Phone Warrior Nation, welcome to another episode of the Phone Warriors podcast. And we have today the one and only Michelle Saward. And Michelle, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and we'll start off that way.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me as one of your guests on the podcast. I'm super stoked to be here. Michelle Saward, I'm in Trenton, Michigan. Where's that? Just outside of Detroit. Literally, I can stand at the waterfront here and look down the river and see the city. So this is just outside of 23 years in business. Got licensed in, well, I guess technically, well, whatever, '01, we'll call it, was when I began practicing. And have loved the journey, loved the ride. And it's just been one of the most rewarding experiences this career.
Well, that's awesome. And one of the reasons that we have you on today, Michelle, okay, because
Okay.
I know that you're more of a modest creature of habit in terms of just that you have connected so many great people within this industry, and I feel like one of the things that I want you to go into is what are your top, let's say, two things around mindset that you have learned in being in the business for so long?
Mindset. Number one, I just experienced it this morning, is getting yourself out of the way, getting your ego out of the way, your mindset out of the way. Look, nobody's perfect in this business. Everybody makes mistakes. It's not going to go right the first time. And I think from a mindset standpoint, taking that approach when you go into transactions, look, you could have a deal that's under contract, which I just did this morning, as a matter of fact, and information was communicated improperly. At the end of the day, I got to think about, okay, if my staff communicated improper information or incorrect information, how can I get my ego out of the way, thinking that I could have done it better, thinking that, right, it could have gone differently if I was more in control. And then realizing like mistakes happen. And at the end of the day, is it really worth an argument or a disruption over when you can just step aside, look at the big picture, figure out a better way to move forward, empower, So I think often real estate agents let their own egos get in the way of success and successful organization and raising other
Okay.
people up.
I was just gonna say, so Michelle, can you go a little bit about your trajectory of like when you started in the business and like, was it all just this like, hey, I started rocking and rolling in like year one or two, and I'm just like this beast of an agent that you are now, right? So, but give us that journey. Like, what changed? At what point did you say? How long did it take you to do like those 100 deals a year, to do those 200 deals a year, and then it was just like, okay, like was it like overnight or was this like a
No,
gradual increase?
no, I am so stubborn. I have to learn stuff the hard way. Like, I am not like, no, it was freaking hard. Straight up. It was hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work. And I see these people like you guys that are coming up years, beneath when I started. I'm 23 years in the business, right? I see people that are like 5 years in the business doing what took me 20 years to accomplish. And it blows my mind. It's like, so no, I was look, either I was really stubborn and just stuck in my ways and like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm just going to keep grinding it out and strive for 20% more, 20% more. That's winning, right? Because that was how I went about it. If I can gain ground 20% more every year, great. I thought that was winning, but I now just see how people are moving so quick through this business. Respect. I just give respect. It was not easy for me. My first year in business, I didn't make rookie of the year. I did not. And the guy that did, funny enough, is not in the business anymore. I think he left in like year 5. The guy that made rookie of the year that year. No, it's always been for me. Just getting back up, getting back up, getting back up.
And with that getting back up, I know you and I talked about it right when I came into the organization,
Yeah.
you blew your team up.
Oh
You
yeah.
sabotaged it. Then it was
Yeah.
just from the ground up, and then you started putting these bricks back together, right?
Yes.
So that took a lot of mindset, right?
Oh,
And that took a lot about what you're talking about. So, I think it's actually important for people that are hearing this, that it's okay to do that, because I think a lot of
Mm.
people get to their status of like year 10, year 15, year 20 in the business,
right.
not happy with it. And they're
Yep.
like, well, I can't do this because I work so hard. But you actually did that. Like you were year 20-ish, something
Yep.
like that, if I recall, 21, blew
Yep.
it up. But
Yep.
now look at you at your trajectory. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, it's hard. Let me just start from the beginning on that though. It's hard work to build a team.
Hmm.
Ridiculous hard work. Like having right chemistry, making sure you're communicating well, that you feel that you've got a partnership and someone's gonna work just as hard or if not harder than you, right? That you guys have the same ideals, same goals, working towards it. It's hard enough to find that right core group of people, right? And then when you find it and it's humming along, you feel like freaking king of the hill, queen of the hill in my case, queen of the hill. Like you just feel like so successful. We've got this. Yeah, we're rocking it. It's flowing. It's going good. But then when you start to see fractures or things that aren't working so good and me blowing it up, I wanted to take it. I wanted to double production. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to double production. And finding out that the people that came this far in the journey didn't want to go the rest of the distance. You know what I mean? With me, it's a really hard realization. And then making that decision that like, okay, fine, if these are not the people that want to go to the next level with me and I have to go alone, ridiculous amounts of courage, so much strength, so much hard work, so much internal reflection. Man, you better know yourself. That's what I got. You bet. If not, you're gonna get to know yourself real good, real quick. Um, because you have to ask yourself a lot of those hard questions about is this is this really where I saw myself going? Is this really where I saw my future being? I mean, I slid backwards from 200 transactions. I don't even, this is the first time I'm saying it out loud on a public forum, to 106 transactions last year. Now, whoo, okay, yeah, we have the market's down a little bit. So 200 transactions, 20% down, that would have been 160. But guess what? But still the math still doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And so that was a little bit of like okay, all right, we're
Mm.
just gonna have to keep moving forward and keep building. And now I'm in a position of like super stoked for where it's gonna go. Super
What is
stoked.
something, Michelle? Thank you for sharing all that, by the way. And
Hard.
what is something that you believe to be true that either wasn't when you did this whole transition of either building the team and then now obviously getting rid of the team, or to
Yeah.
the extent that it was at, and what is and vice
Reducing, I
versa,
guess reducing the team. Reducing.
reducing, right? But
Yeah.
like, what did you believe that was like true as you were coming up in that leadership role, that you're like, wait, this isn't true anymore. Like, this is not what I thought it was. I was a little bit naive, maybe, to an idea that I was like leaning on. Like, what was some of that?
Some of it, I think a piece of it was that more is better.
Hmm.
More is not better, better is better.
Fair.
More is not better. Better is better.
What's your
And
more in this situation?
look, I did like 192 transactions with 4 people. We did 201 transactions with 12 or 15 people, depending on support staff or whatever, if you want to consider, right? Really?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. More is not better, better is better.
Yeah.
So, it's about having right aligned individuals, right alignment that want the same things, or going for the same goal, willing to put in the effort that you want to put in. And I'll tell you the truth, when you find better, it's so much less stress. It's ridiculous.
That's well said. That is well said.
It is, because all the goals are aligned. Everybody's vision is the same. The mission statement is the same, and you're now aligning yourself with somebody who has the same drive, hunger, and eagerness as you do. So you don't have to sit there and figure out if this particular person is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Are they following up on that contact? Are they making that first prospect and call XYZ? And guess what? You've now found the formula that's going to take you from 206 with 12, 14, whatever it is, down to 400 potentially transactions with 4 people, because they're all producing at a high level, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And it's like, I'm like, oh, I have another point to add on this. It's like, I built that team up to having more people, thinking more is better, right? This will just keep growing. You know what I mean? The more people you add, the better, the more sales you're going to do, the more, you know what I mean? Spend more money on marketing, add more agents, just keep, I've had that mindset. And I realized, I'm like, you know, a lot of those people that I was adding, I was dragging them along on the journey to success, kicking, screaming, and fighting me every freaking step of the way. Like,
Wow.
damn it, you will be successful. Right here in front of you. Here's the opportunity. You're gonna love it. It was exhausting for me. It was exhausting. Dean, you have kids, right?
Yeah.
If your kids, I'm just thinking of it this way, don't want to get in the car and you've got somewhere to go,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them's having just a freaking meltdown,
Mm-hmm.
you can pick up that kid and jam them in their car seat, and they're going to scream on the whole car ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
So basically what you're saying is that was your mindset, and that
That was
wasn't,
it.
but it turns out that that's not in business, at least, or in real estate, in the
No.
leadership role, that's not something that really works long term.
No.
Yeah.
Or you could say to your kid, you can take 5 minutes, we're going to calm down. You know what? Maybe you should stay home and get a nap.
Okay.
I'm going to call and drop you out. We're going to get a sitter to come. I'm not going to jam you in the car. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So check this out. I want to ask you this question now. Now that's a great example, by the way, because I mean, we do have to force our kids in the car when they do, you know.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But you're right. But at the same time, though, when you're now like gunning it, now you're like you're in this leadership role, and you're repackaging everything.
Yeah.
To like make it work for you, to be profitable again, from what it sounds like. What is your relationship around prospecting and leadership and all the stuff that we have to do? Like, how do you differentiate the two and still lead as you now draw down everything in your business to now bump back up to reach to the next level?
Okay, you got to phrase it. How do I still lead with? Help me with that, because I feel like there's a couple questions.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, basically, like, what is your, like, the way, like, right, you had to be a really just like an open leader in this moment, open-minded leader, to say to yourself and be that self-awareness. Like, where did you find that? And is that a trait that you can attribute to and get down to the core people that you have to build them up now to that level that you need them to go?
I think I'm going to flip that conversation a little bit on its head, because what it came down to me out of necessity was self-leadership first and foremost. I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I am not going to beg anyone to plug in, connect, ride along with me. I'm not begging anybody. Either they're going to ride or they're not. And so it became then it became self-leadership conversation. What can I do today, Michelle Saward, that is going to move the business forward despite what anybody else wants or does? And I had this conversation with an agent on my team agent in my organization who's starting to build her new team. And she's like, man, this is such exhausting work. Like, I've got to carve out time in my schedule to teach them everything. And I said to her, no, you don't. You need to lead yourself and lead by example, and they will follow. So invite them along to watch you in your pursuit of success for yourself. And then they follow, and they will mirror and watch and pick up and do. And I think back to before I started to scale and grow. And that's what I freaking did. Actually, that's what I did. I was so damn busy myself, leading myself of my own goals and my dreams, that I then said, hey, if you want to learn this process, come with me. I'm going on a listing appointment. You want to learn this process, listen to me while I'm on the phone. You want to, right? And that's what you guys are doing. Rich, Dean, you guys are doing this. You're making your calls and you're saying, if you want to do this too, tune in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So my question about this is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way you're speaking about this kind of sounds like it's more self-taught. But were you going to different type of seminars to be able to become a better leader? Were you reading books? Were you mimicking other professionals that you were like, hey, listen, like I want to be like this person. Let me come watch you for a day. Like, where did it come from? Or did you wake up one day and were like, hey, I'm gonna write this down. This is how I'm doing it.
I'm such a junkie. Look, like, this is just on my desk. Okay. I'm such a junkie. Duh. Right. I'm ridiculous. This is so stupid. Okay. Like, all right.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Like, okay. So
Yeah.
the $2 bill in there, and that one is bookmark. Okay. But I'm so such a junkie this is just in this room. You should see what's next to my, in my living room. You know what I mean? Like, but man, I'm a podcaster. Like, I just listen to everything all the time. Like, whenever I can consume content. I was on the treadmill this morning and I'm listening to an audiobook. But yes, I am a conference goer. I am a coach eavesdropper. I am, I try to just fill my mind with positive ideas all the time.
But what I hear you saying, it's okay not to know how to lead, but it's all within the one person of how they want to perceive themselves and how they perceive their future and also how they perceive their team. So there's not one shot fits all, right? It's okay, like take a little bit of it here, take a little bit of there, and this is what created me. And because now you're leading by the example, people are going to follow because now it's Michelle's way. It's not the way exactly 100% that the book says. It's not 100% because you went to the seminar and you're following a Tony Robbins type of thing. It's tailored to Michelle and Michelle's spin and outlook on life, right? Because I feel like so many people are like, hey, I'm not a great leader, right? And I can't do this. And they start getting that internal dialogue with themselves, and now it's negativity mindset, right? So from this conversation, we can tell from the way he's talked about mindset, about the team leader, the way that you sabotage the team, and then now look where you are now, your trajectory. So I think it's very important for people to know it's okay to fail, but just fail forward in a way.
It's actually failing I've just, like, in the past couple weeks, started to really appreciate failure. Like, I'm 47, man. I just started to really appreciate it. Like, what's wrong with you? Because before I'm like, damn, that didn't work. And I can't believe I wasted money on that, or, marketing piece or whatever. Or you think this is going to be the next lead generation thing, or you think that this is going to be the next company that's going to help you with your marketing or whatever you do. And, but now I'm like at the point where I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm frustrated in the moment right now. This is what I was dealing with this week. So frustrated. I feel like I just kept running into brick walls. When you think you got the right idea and it doesn't work. You think you got the right idea, it doesn't work. And I was like, I am so grateful I'm frustrated because I know that something good is on the other side of this. Like if I didn't feel frustrated, then I'd have no reason to change.
That's true.
That would be complacency if you
And we all don't like to be complacent. So I guess one more on this topic, at least, Dean, and we can move on. But for that new team leader, for that new real estate agent that just got their license, that experienced brokerage, anything like that, what would be the advice you would tell them that they should look into, like just about either building a team or building a strong organization underneath themselves?
I'm having more and more conversations like this now with experienced team leaders that are at the point of frustration because they've done the same thing that I've done, I'm sure, pour into people who didn't really have the same vision and the same goals and the same ideas, and raised them up to a point, and then they've left and gone on to another to be their competition or to align with their competition. Like, I'm having so many conversations about that right now. The beauty that is our company EXP Realty is that we have a mitigated threat. It's not eliminated, it's a mitigated threat of that happening because we have other options for people to grow and to explore, right? To grow into. So what advice would I give to them? Stop. Like that's my advice. Like just stop subjecting yourself to that rat race and that feeling of like this is the only way to solve that problem of pouring into people and then having them, you know, take your ideas and run in a different direction, or just feeling like you've wasted your energy. Don't put your energy into that anymore. Put your put your energy into what you can do today yourself that will change your situation. Don't fix
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah, it sounds like you believe also that people have a high degree, especially team leaders around the country that you're talking to, have a high degree of self-awareness around that, right? That they can figure it out on their own from what it sounds like, as opposed to like like trying to, like you said, go into a seminar, read a book or whatever. Like we pretty much know what's good for us is what I'm hearing from you.
I hope to God there's team leaders that have high self-awareness.
Yeah.
I think a majority of them do,
Mm-hmm.
but I've also run across many who are just so frustrated that they only see one way to solve a problem. And just to have their eyes open to other options.
So like there's a lot of us in Phone Warriors, right? Or in general that I know that approach Rich and I about that, are that they're a lot of newer agents actually coming into the mold. They don't know where to start. They found this group on Facebook, or they just see what we're doing and they're like, oh wow, like prospecting is still a thing. And so what would be like the 1 to 2 things you would be telling someone, a new agent now? Doesn't matter how old they are. Just they're like brand spanking new, like a year or less, or 2 years or less in the business. Because to me, that's, if you're 2 years or less, you're still really new in the business. So what are you telling those people? If someone can say, Michelle, I want to work with you. I want to work for you, whatever they want to, what their goals are. What are you telling to those agents right now?
I tell all agents I meet with, even if they're interviewing multiple brokerages, you know what I mean, or whatever they're doing, I just say, I don't care where you go or what you do. The number one thing that you need to be doing right now is building your database. Number one. And they're like, huh? I just had it the other day. I'm like, all those numbers and people that you know on social media, yeah, DM them, get their email addresses, their phone numbers, and their email addresses. And one of them literally said to me on Thursday, isn't that weird? I go, it's not weird if you say, I have my real estate license. I'm building my database. I just want to make sure I have accurate information because I'd like to keep you apprised of the market. Like, can I do that? And build that database. I'm going to share this with you guys today because you're going to freaking love it. And it goes right in alignment. I feel like you set me up for this. I'm going to name drop her too, because she's probably in your group. Her name is Jennifer Lopez, just like you would think. Exactly. That's exactly it. And she said to me this morning right here, hello. So she's a brand new licensee. She quit her job because she needed to have surgery on her leg, which would leave her on crutches and not able to walk. And she needs to walk to do her job. That's what she needed. So she needed to have a couple months off to have a surgery. So she got her license and so she said, I hope you had the best week ever. I just want to share some exciting news. I have 3 new clients that I found right from my couch. I can't wait to be able to walk again. 2 first-time home buyers and 1 who wants to buy and sell.
Wow.
And I said to her, that's a great beginning lesson, proof that prospecting works. Right? Like then I went on to say, keep prospecting, keep that pipeline flowing, keep going. And how can you serve them today while being laid up with her surgery? This is the least expensive thing you can do. And if a new licensee can do it with a busted leg on the couch.
Now, by the way, she said that she was calling, or this was DMing people.
Oh, she's
calling people, right?
People.
Yeah, people, right?
A new licensee from her couch.
Yeah.
Wow.
She wants to switch careers, right? So she went from her job that required physical demands and gave her a bad leg as a result. To sitting on her couch and making thousands.
Sky's the limit.
It works. People don't like to admit it. I had an agent on my team say yesterday, because I do my accountability calls on Thursdays with them. She said yesterday, she goes, you know what's so crazy about prospecting? Calling. She goes, it really sucked the first couple weeks getting rejected, But I had someone hang up on to me today, and it's no big deal anymore.
When you can break through that barrier where that particular person's bad day, that particular no, does not stop your want, your why, because at the end of the day, you have to keep that smile going because it's another check, a $10,000 check on the other end of that call for somebody who's going to say yes. But the most important part is just having that courage to keep on going with the smile, because one bad no for some people turn around and guess what? They stop prospecting for a month, right? There are those people, but you have to stick through it and you have to be able to understand that let their bad day determine your outcome and your future, because at the end of the day, you need to provide for your family, yourself, whatever that might be, and just keep on going.
So with that, with that said, Michelle, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that's her leading her own charge. That's exactly what we're talking about, self-leadership.
Yeah, 100%. So like in those moments, let's say, that's a success story, right? That Jennifer had shared with you, which is fantastic.
I love
Let's say it's talking about the frustration. We talked about the frustration with the team leadership side. Let's say you are pounding the phones. You are, putting the work out there as long as they think it's work, you know what I mean? In terms of making your calls to do what we have to do every single day. What would you tell someone who's struggling or not getting the results as fast as they want to by using the phone, by using the prospecting method?
Not getting results as fast. I mean, look, it takes time and it's skill development. Like straight up, you can practice more and get your results faster. This is not like basketball or, where I have to like, run up and down the court a lot of times to physical exhaustion and do touch and goes and burpees and stuff until I like drop and physically can't do anymore. Right. This you can practice listening. You can practice, repeating your scripts and skills over the phone. You can practice, watching other people do their presentations, like on Zoom or whatever, or on YouTube, pick something up. I would audio record myself and then listen to them in the car when I'm driving. You can't really, at some point you're going to get like tired of hearing yourself say, if I could show you a way that I could make you more money than you could selling it on your own, would that be worth 15, 20 minutes of your time to go over? Right. At some point you're going to be tired of yourself like saying that or hearing that. But at a certain point, it will become ingrained in you. And when that happens, that's when it all turns around.
Yeah. And it starts, you get into that flow state, as we say, right? Yeah. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now if you could take a time machine back to the Michelle Saward in the early 2000s, okay? We're talking, right? It was over 20 years ago, all right? You're taking that time machine back. What are you saying to yourself in those in those years right now?
God, what was I saying to myself in those years?
Well, no. Well, what would you say if you could go back? Now take a time machine back to yourself.
Okay.
Back then,
right.
yes.
What would I say to myself?
What would you say to yourself about like something that like you're like, listen, girl, you got to know the X, Y, and Z, or something along those lines. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you got me. Listen, girl, I want you to know this. I would look back on it and I would say, I want that girl to know that all these things that you're doing for external validation and for approval, to put those numbers up on the board or, to make this certain amount of money or whatever, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I would not have listened to myself then, though. There's no way I would have listened to myself. I would have been like, shut up, lady. This feels good right now. And this is what I'm doing right now. But I would have said it doesn't matter. So that's a really tough question, because it's like, I would have been talking to myself, like just throwing Jello at the wall and seeing if there's no way it's going to stick. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't going to listen.
Yeah. But let's just say you had like the lessons. What lessons are you sharing to yourself, assuming that you had your crazy younger self and you had the full attention of your crazy younger self? What are you now saying to that? What are the lessons that you want to bestow upon yourself back then?
I would have taken maybe a few more risks. I would have, yeah, there was a point in my career, it was probably at least a 10-year run where I was the biggest fish in the small pond for too long of a time. And I would have like put myself in a bigger circle. And that would have been risky, a little risky. I would have put myself in a bigger circle where I was a smaller fish in a bigger pond. I would have done that faster. I would have been, I would like to have been more aware of that factor because there's that feeling of being a small fish where you just want to be a big fish, damn it. Like, come on, man. I I want that freaking trophy this year that, Barb got and I didn't. So close. And stay in that feeling as often as you can of being inspired by other people. And because that's what pushes you and that's what challenges you the most.
That's awesome. That's a great answer in my opinion.
Thank you.
That's great. And then my question is the complete opposite. What is your legacy? What do you want, if you had to have it written somewhere in stone where generational after generation can see what Michelle Saward was all about?
Oh God. Damn, Rich, this is hard.
It doesn't have to be hard. It's just that, like, she was a rock star. She was a go-getter. Her energy was through the roof. She was, the best real estate agent in our family. Like, what's the legacy? Like, or better yet, then why do you get up every day and do what you do? Is it for what reason?
You're gonna make me cry. You just made me think about it now. This is just what hit me. That she loved and she was loved.
That's wonderful.
That's it. That I do my best every day to help people succeed and grow. I didn't know you were gonna make me freaking damn you. I'm not even PMSing, nothing. This is legit. Okay.
Well, just so when I came over, you were so kind to help and to give all this advice and countless advice, and the times I met you, the same thing. So I understand what you're saying. It was coming from more of a place of knowing a little bit about a little bit, but seeing what you built and seeing the people that surround you and seeing the help and everything you're doing. And that's just me knowing you for what, a year and a half now, something like that.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm like, I can't say I've ever done this before where I'm like praying to God that mascara doesn't run down my face on a podcast. Is that I try very hard to help connect people, raise them up to their goals, get them the information or what they need to thrive and to grow. I try hard to do that. It was done for me, and it was the best gift I received. That straight up. And so you're asking like, what's that legacy? It's like me or not, you cannot deny the fact that I had done my best to try to help you.
Yeah, and that's perfect.
That's it.
So I got that. I mean, I know I got my last question. Do you have any more questions? Because
No, I'm good. You know that time machine's mine. So
yeah. So my last question is, what most people probably don't know is you wrote a book, right?
I did.
So just talk about that real quick. Tell people a little bit about it, where they can find it so they can learn a little bit more about you too, and how they can find you on social media or phone number. But yeah, just take that and we're good.
I did. Actually here, it's with all the books that I surround myself with. I did. So I wrote a chapter in this book, Sacred Silver Linings. And it was just really about some of the lessons that I learned. And the title of it is This Detroit Ain't Hustling Harder. And it's about, it's not about putting out that more effort where more is not better, better is better, essentially. And some of the lessons that I learned along the way about that. So you can find it on Amazon. So just Sacred Silver Linings. You can pull it up, get an order copy. I got a couple of them here. If but yeah, if people want to tune into that and check that out, please do so. And yeah, I just wish people the most success. And again, stay in that space of being a small fish for as long as possible.
that's awesome. Where can people find you if they have referrals anywhere in that greater Detroit area?
Yeah, honestly, I would say just through Facebook Messenger or Instagram through Messenger.
Yep.
I check that pretty regularly. Text, I know, I'm like, you can find me on social media. Yeah, you can find me on social media. You can find me there.
Mhm.
That's pretty easy through the Saward team or just Michelle L. Saward on Instagram, or my name, Michelle Saward. You can find me pretty easily. And if you want to call me, go ahead, text me. I don't care. 313-622-1609. That's my cell phone number. And I'm happy to support you in any way that I can. Keep it
Awesome.
up.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This is awesome.
Yeah, keep
Thank
it up. Appreciate you.